Let's travel backward in time, say 2,000 years, on the exact day Jesus was born, to talk not about religion, but physics. Let's get back to the year zero, eliminating all existing theories, assuming all assumptions are wrong, and see which existing elements were confirmed to be irrevocable. In other words, which elements of reality could have been seen as undeniable then? Which elements of reality are undeniable now? The following undeniable elements of reality were present then, but very few of them were used as tools of comprehension of the physical world. The first element is that gravity is an obvious fact. There is a drawing force. The second element is that descendants always resemble their ancestors. The third element is that only three constituents of reality can be concretely confirmed to exist. They are movement, matter, and space. The third element confirms the existence of the other two. Gravity can produce the movement of matter in space, confirming the existence of movement, matter, in space. Ancestors and descendants alike are made of matter and move in space, confirming again the existence of movement, matter, and space. Could movement exist without space, since movement can only happen in space? Can matter exist without space, since its existence is the occupation of some of that space? Only space can exist by itself, but it is invisible, like the desire to comprehend the physical world. How likely is it to find a solution to a problem when a very important element of the equation is left out? How likely is it to find a solution to the problem of gravity if space, the only element that can exist by itself, is left out? Let's consider space, and more importantly, let's consider new questions. Why are galaxies always having spiral shapes? Could a spiral shape be a component describing gravity, or is it just a spectacular coincidence we enjoy watching in our telescopes? Remember, we are 2,000 years ago, and here's the most relevant question of all. Why will the physicists of the next 2,000 years never question the reason for the spiral shape? Could a vertical fall be an illusion? Could knowledge be an illusion? Welcome to gravity. Welcome to an understanding that does not discriminate any elements of reality. Gravity exists. Descendants always resemble their ancestors. Matter, movement, and space coexist. I will get up on the roof of my house, and from there, I will drop this ball. I'm going to be about 9.5 meters high, and it should take the ball approximately 1 second to reach the ground. Here we go. What you saw is a fall that appeared to have a vertical trajectory, but that was only an illusion. We know that from an ancestor can only emerge a descendant that would be in its image. Of an illusion can only emerge another illusion. Of the illusion of a vertical fall could emerge the illusion that the fall was produced by the mass of the earth. Those illusions appear so true. But wait, I'm going to take you with me, and we're going to go for a ride of 1/3 of a kilometer just to give you an idea of that distance. With the car, we just traveled a distance that's 34 times greater than the distance the ball traveled from the roof to the ground. Imagine that I covered the distance with my car in 1 second. This is where I live. Right here, close to the 45th parallel. And because the Earth is turning, each point on the ground travels at approximately 1,200 kilometers an hour. 333 meters per second. This tree is traveling towards the east at 333 meters per second. This car is now traveling towards the east at 333 meters per second. The house is traveling east at 333 meters per second. This exact point where the ball landed was traveling at 333 meters per second. If I feel no wind, it means that even the atmosphere is traveling east at 333 meters per second. So the real trajectory of the ball was a long arc that had 34 times the horizontal travel in comparison to its vertical drop. I repeat. So the real trajectory of the ball was a long arc that had 34 times more horizontal travel than it had vertical drop. But because I was also traveling east at 333 meters per second, as the fall happened, it appeared vertical. Imagine now that 3 of us would drop a ball from our roofs at the same time. We would get 3 trajectories in the shape of arcs. That reminds me of something. In reality, the trajectory was made of velocity and curve. You know, descendants always resemble their ancestors. So the cause of that trajectory involving velocity and curve must also involve velocity and curve. We are looking for a drawing force involving velocity and curve. Let's experiment in the sink. Some of you may remember the drawing force produced when the convexity of the spoon gets in contact with a stream of water. This is a drawing force that has the power to take and to retain. Just like gravity. Let's try something new. I'm going to touch the system with a knife. The knife sticks to the system as if there was a drawing force. Try it if you have a chance. In case I would get the objection that the spoon was not spinning, I made the Earth become Mother Earth. Baby Earth. Let's try Baby Earth with the knife and see if we get the same magnetic force. It still works. When an object falls, its trajectory is made of velocity and curve. When velocity and curve interact, there is a drawing force. I think we have a match. We will now compare two objects that perform gravity. Earth, that has velocity and curve, and Jupiter, that also has velocity and curve. The mass of Jupiter is 380 times greater than the mass of Earth. If mass was the reason for gravity, we should expect Jupiter to exert a force of 318 Gs. But Jupiter's gravitational force is about equivalent to the one of the Earth, only 1.3 Gs. A day on Earth is 24 hours, and at the equator, the Earth's crust travels at approximately 1,600 kilometers per hour. A day on Jupiter lasts 9 hours, and at the equator, Jupiter's crust travels at approximately 50,000 kilometers per hour. I will now experiment in the sink with this piece of sheet metal. I gave it a long arc, and I'm going to make it interact with a very fast flow, and that will represent Jupiter. Now I gave it a tighter arc, and I will make it interact with a slower flow. That will represent Earth. So you see, I can produce almost equivalent drawing forces by changing the velocities and the curves. A vertical fall is an illusion, and the fact mass attracts is a myth. Didn't I use the same piece of sheet metal to produce my two examples? The piece of sheet metal had the same mass all along. Now, without trying to conclude anything, we can take a look at the other end of the spectrum, the atom. There is a spinning nucleus, and around it, particles are orbiting at incredible speeds. It appears that velocity and curve are still part of the equation, and there is a possibility that the principles could be the same. Remember, we are in the year 0, the year Jesus was born. In the next 2,000 years, we will speculate on things that are very different. We will believe in the existence of particles with specific behaviors, like electrons and protons. Quantum physics will discover dozens of those particles with specific behaviors. We will discover them in our imagination, but never will be able to prove their existence in reality. Think about this. Behavior. Behave. Be. Have. A word made of the two most basic verbs in all languages. Taking and retaining. Taking and retaining. Taking and retaining. Perception and retention. Look around and tell me if you see anything else than beings with the inspiration to have. I don't. It is now time to introduce to you the logo of reality and inspiration. It is very simple. It represents a flexed movement producing a drawing force. It could represent everything really. Gravity, atomic magnetism, living creatures that all execute the flexion of their cerebral spinal fluid around the lobes of their brains. It represents flexions in space over a period of time, which could be the principle unifying all beings of influence. When I say it is our logo, it also means that it is yours. Isn't your inspiration a reality? Aren't you a being with a desire to have?
See you later.